All right, you can start.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Today I'll be talking on the topic implementation of MVC structure. First, we start with introduction. MVC is a software architecture pattern that is commonly used to develop web applications. It is an acronym that stands for Model View and Controller, and its advantage is that different components of the application can be developed and tested independently, which makes code easier to maintain and modify. So basically, it makes it easier to code, like different people can work on different section of the of the architecture. So as we go on, you understand what it is about. Okay, like I said, it is an acronym for model view and controller. So the model represents the data aspect of the application, and the view represents the user interface. The controller is an intermediary between model and view, and it is responsible for handling input, updating the model, and selecting appropriate view that will display the results to the user. This is a representation of what it looks like. So the controller is in between the model and the view. So when a user requests something, it requests from the controller. So the controller would now request the data from the model, and the model will get the data from the database. So when the model gets data from the database, it sends it to the controller, and the controller would now send it to the view. So the view will respond to the user request with the data gotten from the controller. Usage. Here's an example of a simple project we can build with MVC structure. The model, we can use the model to manage task data, for example, name, description, status, and the view would be responsible for displaying information to user. It will include creating form or creating table. Then the controller would be used to handle user interaction. It will retrieve and update task data from the model and handle user input from the view. The technologies we'll be using for this application would be PHP. Then we'll be using PHP framework U2. For frontend, we'll be using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Then for the database, we'll be using MySQL. So for E2 application, it basically comes with front end, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So we won't be doing much with the front end. We just focus on the back end. Steps to build the project. We are going to create a MySQL database to store task data. We'll define the model component to manage the data. Then we'll define the controller to handle user interaction with the application. This will include creating PHP script to retrieve data from the model and to select appropriate view to display to the user. Then we're going to define the view component to display task data to the user. It will include creating form and creating table to display the task. Okay, so this is what a model looks like. Sorry. I hope you can all see my screen.
Yeah, I can see
Yes,
your
we
screen.
can.
Okay, so this is what the model looks like. So these properties are already stored in the database. The LGA ID, the local government name, the state ID, everything is in the database. But we're going to define it in the model because we need this information. So we're like telling the model that these are the things that we need you to get from the database, but hold on to it for now. So in the local government class, we would see a table name LGA. So that is the table we'll be working on from the database. That is the table where all this information are stored. And this is the controller. In the controller, we're going to write SQL syntax, and that is where we're going to select the things that we need. For example, we need the local government name. So we're going to select the local government name, and the property is already in the model. So in the controller, we just use SQL to get the local government name from LGA. So this LGA stands for the table that we've defined already in the model. Then all these other queries are just basically saying that these are the things that we need. We need the local government name, the polling unit name, the party score. We're just defining the things that we need. Then this is what the view looks like. In the view, we are like creating the page that is going to be displayed to the user. So the controller and the model does not undo displaying of the page. It's not going to display anything to the user. It's just focused on the back end. So the front end would be done in the view. As you can see, there's an HTML form there. So I didn't exactly write any HTML code because it already came with E2 framework. So all I just did was just to modify it, like I just tell it that okay, begin this form and end this form, but these are the things that I need in the form. I need it to create a drop down list where LGAs would be there. LGA, you get LGA ID and all of that. Then I wrote PHP script that if I select this LGA, then get the polling unit results. Then the grid view is like the table. The HTML form is the form that would allow me to select the local government. Then the grid view here is where I'm going to display all the results of this attribute, the polling unit ID, the party abbreviation, the party score. Then this is what the results looks like. This is the page that is displayed to the user. So when the user selects local government and submits, you would see the polling unit results and you will see the local government results. So like I defined in my view, the attributes, polling unit ID, party abbreviation, it's two tables actually, but you cannot see it because this is just like a screenshot. Okay, so I have two tables here, polling unit results up and I have local government result down. So in conclusion, the MVC structure makes it very easy to edit different sections of the code. Different people can work on different aspects of the code. In cases where different expertise is needed, let's say you know there's someone that is very good with SQL and someone that is very good in like front end. The person that is good with SQL can work on the controller and just write SQL queries for the code. It does not necessarily have to do any other thing, just write the SQL query. As long as the person working on the view understands what the query is about, you can just create the view page for the program. Thank you very much. I was going to give I don't know if you want me to like show you this, but I already gave a screenshot, but if you still want to see it, no problem. So
yeah,
if you have any
question,
question,
you can show us.
you want to see it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Give me a second. Let me share my phone. Okay. So this is what I don't know how to hide this thing. Sorry. I'm having conflict with my okay. So in order to be able to access my codes for the framework, I would have to first connect to my server. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not seeing your questions, but I'll check it in like 1 second. Okay. Then this is my browser. Okay, can we see my screen? Can we see the browser?
I'm not seeing the browser.
You can't see the browser.
Can't. Okay. I guess I'm not sharing. Let me share my entire screen.
You can't share entire screen on Zoom.
Yeah. I'm having conflict managing like the whole of Zoom is giving me serious. I'm trying to look for the control panel. I have no idea where it is.
Or maybe you go to share screen.
Secondary server.
Okay, control panel. Okay.
No, that's from Visual Studio Code.
I think you should stop sharing and share from like the other screen that you want to post this.
Yeah, I'm like looking for the I'm like looking for the old Zoom control panel. I remember that I
In
used
the
Just
it.
top of
press.
your screen. Or press escape.
Oh,
Are you-
okay. There it is.
Okay.
Sorry, let me stop sharing so I can share my entire screen. Okay. Can you see my browser now?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is for the polling units. So if I select the local government now and I submit, okay, let me select another one. And I submit, if I check, you see I have different polling units here. And I'll get the party name and the party score. But for the one we are working with now is the local government. When I select the local government and I submit, I'll get the polling unit, the party name, and the total polling unit score. Then down here, I have the local government party name. In my code, I showed that I wrote the SQL syntax that for local governments that don't have any party score, it should not display anything. So that is why I have that's why I don't have party score for some and I have party score for some. Okay. So sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, so that's why I don't have score for some of these. If I select another, let me see, I'm not sure which one has all. Let me try to select another local government. Okay, so this is the total local government score for this particular local government. There's a total score for this. For some, they don't have total score. So the ones that don't have total score is not going to display anything for the local government. And that's why I say local government result for 22. So this local government ID is 22. And the polling unit is polling unit for this particular one. So I'm supposed to get this is polling unit 22 and local government 22. So these are all the party names and these are all the party scores for each of the polling units. Then if I add all the polling units together in the local government, this is the total local government score. Okay, any questions? Let me check the comment section. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Mr. Alex is raising his hands.
No questions?
There's a question.
Okay. I was actually raising my hands.
Okay.
In fact, you've just okay. I think I will agree that PHP theme is hot. I will agree with that. So your presentation has your presentation has validated that. This is a very, very super cool concept. And I think I could say that Bincom was able to see the future because I think as far back as maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I've worked on this particular application and I was not able to achieve it as robust as you've done it. So well done. I would say well done. You wowed me and it sincerely indeed. So that's more like a side story. So the question comes this way that when we want to deploy this application, because I could see that you are using use a command g serve
Yes, sir. Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah. So I don't know, is it possible for us to actually deploy this on the cloud, or does he have his own different pattern? Maybe you don't need to do cloud.
I'm not. I will not say that I'm sure that you can, but I know that for except if you connect it to like an external source, I guess, like a web host or so. But for ye particularly, like for PHP now, all you need is just to connect with your XAMPP and then you should be good to go. But for ye, you have to connect to the server. If I off my even though my Apache server is running, if I off this, if I close my server, you would see that it's not going to run. I don't know if you can still see my browser. Just
Yes, I can see a browser.
okay, this is better. This zoom control is really okay. If I refresh this page, it's not going to load. See, it's not going to open. This is because even though my Apache server is still running, because I've already disconnected the PHP and the ye serve is not going to run. But if I reconnect again, then it's going to
It's
run.
working.
So yeah, so you have to connect it. If you don't connect it to the server, it's not going to work.
Okay. There's something I also have to say, but maybe when we are off record, then I can mention that.
Okay, okay. Do you have any other question?
Yeah, Mr. Samuel.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Too much.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well done, Damilola. I just wanted to add to